But I don't want no tea. It gives me a headache.
Oh, what shall we have then?
Coffee.
Hey everyone. I want to make this short little video hopefully on what I want to do for acrylic paints with the sub. I'm just going to show you some acrylic paints I've used in the past and ones I'm going to use for doing this sub. Start off with, you can use any kind of acrylic paint you want. This folk art stuff, whatever, cheapy paints, this stuff can be airbrushed. You know, you get them $1 a piece over at Walmart. They can airbrush those. You can airbrush the regular acrylic quality paints you get. This is from Blick Artists. And Tamiya is a good acrylic paint. And my favorite now is Vallejo paints. Very well made. High pigment content. They make Model Air, which I'm going to use. Where's the one I want to use? This is the gray primer I'm going to use for primer in the sub. It's already mixed. It's already mixed. All you got to do is take it from here, put it in the cup, boom, start airbrushing. Maybe thin it just a little bit, but pretty much from what I've been hearing everybody say. I tried it once, it worked fine on, what did I do it on? I think my zombie, and it worked out pretty good, but I think I had to thin it just a little bit. But everybody's saying to just use it right out of here. That's fine. What I will do is end up shaking it up. I run it through, you know, those little teacup. I don't have one here with me right now. There's a little, oh, here's one. Hold on. Hold on. Looks like I already stepped on this. What I recommend you doing is, if you, on all paints you mix for acrylics, take a little teacup strainer or tea leaf strainer if you make for doing tea. It comes in 2 halves. You take it off. Pour this, as you're pouring it in your cup, pour this through here. In case there's any little dried chunks or something in there, that will stop it from going in your airbrush. Do that with any of these paints after you mix them. But anyway, Vallejos are wonderful. Even regular Vallejos. I had read articles online that guys said that, oh, I don't like airbrushing with Vallejo. It doesn't work as well. And da-da-da-da. I'm like, what? And I thought, well, I'll try it. And when I did my 1/350th scale subs, that's all I did was used Vallejo paints. And they, if you only get your formula straight, they will work perfectly. So that's the main thing about those. Now, let me show you what I'm going to be doing. Basically, I'll take a cup like this and get these all over the place. I'll show you Vallejo paint. I won't really do it, but I'm just showing you. Say this is skin tone or just regular Vallejo black. I will drop, you know, a bunch in there, enough that I think I'm going to need to airbrush with. Depending on the project, if you're going to do the whole boat, then you're going to need a bunch of it in here. Put some of this in there. Then I take my retarder from Golden. Now, my friend Dave has this, but it's a thinner. This comes in different viscosities. His is actually like water. Mine's more like a gel. This works fine though. So I'll put the paint in there, put a few drops of retarder in there to keep it from drying while I'm airbrushing. And that all depends too on what you want, what you think is gonna, how long you're gonna be using the airbrush and how long of a time you want to sit. So I don't put too much in there, just put a fair amount. Maybe say I put like 10 drops of Vallejo paint in here. I'll put 4 drops of retarder in there, or 5. Then I take this. This is windshield wiper fluid. What you do is you go to Walmart, buy the cheapy regular windshield wiper fluid. Nothing with all the additives and crap in it. Just regular cheap $1 a gallon windshield wiper fluid. Take it and mix it half and half. Half water, and I always use like drinking water or reverse osmosis water or something like that. Half water, half windshield wiper fluid. Put it in a container like this. Boom. You now got your solvent. You mix this after you've stirred the paint and the retarder together. Take some of that, put it in there, and keep stirring until it becomes the consistency of milk or a lighter water, like in between milk and water. Enough where your airbrush will flow freely. It all depends on whether you're going to do something with a low pressure, you want it to be thinned out more, and if you're just going to mist something, you want it to be very thin. If you want to paint like a regular paint, then you want this consistency of milk, and that'll work better for you. But that's basically what I use these 3. When I go to airbrush, I use these 3 things. Basically, I love Vallejo paints. Can hardly wait to try the new Model Air. Put it right in, use it, boom. And I've heard nothing but good things about this primer. If you can hear it. But it works really well. Now, after I mix that up, and I've done with the colors, what I'll do, say I paint the bottom of my sub dark gray or whatever. What I'm going to do after that is I'm going to put a clear coat on there, and I'm going to use Tamiya Clear. Reason being is because when I go, after I do that, and I go to mask off for the next layer above it, on the side it's going to be a lighter gray, I'm going to want something on here like acrylic clear to help buffer me from my masking tape. I'll use a Tamiya tape, which is really well made, but I don't want to risk ripping off any old paint after I lay this tape down. So I will definitely put Tamiya Clear, and I have the thinner for it. I use Tamiya thinner. Some people say you can use water. Some people say you use different denatured alcohol. I've used that before in old Tamiya stuff. I didn't have this thinner, and denatured alcohol will work, but denatured alcohol dries quickly, so you have it tends to come out of the airbrush and dry on the model immediately, and that can create hazing and all sorts of stuff. So you have to be very careful. But this Tamiya thinner, buy that. I bought a big jar. I had it for a year or so, 2 years. This is also open thinner. You can use that also on different types. I just use, like I said, I use a windshield wiper fluid. Works way better. Oops. So try that. The fun part about doing this is experimenting. I mean, yeah, it's a gamble, but if you just do it in little bits and you learn how to get your formula, it's not the airbrush. I figured it out years ago. It's not the airbrush that screws up. It's us. We have to get our paint down the consistency that will flow through the airbrush at the way we want it to flow. If you're just, like I said earlier, if you said you're misting something or you're putting a very light coat over top of something, then yeah, thin it out and do that. Or if you're getting very close and doing some detail work, yes, you want it thinner because you want to get it down at low pressure without spurting all over the place, and get a low pressure and get down in there. It all depends on what you want to do. Heavier coats, like when I go to paint just the gray primer on, I'll use either my medium needle. I'll probably use my miniature needle, my smallest detail needle, and spray it average pressure, maybe 15 psi, 10 psi. Spray it through there. Get a very fine spray, and that way you can get all these little tight cracks in it again too. I've got a lot of cracks to get in that thing, so it will work out better. But anyway, I just wanted to show you what I do for acrylic paints now. Like I said, I grew up using nothing but enamels. I can spray enamels any day of the week, no problem. I've got that down pat. But acrylics are my new thing. I don't know if I said earlier, but Vinny got me into doing these. That guy, I'll get you back, Vinny, for getting me into acrylics. It's great. I now have a hard time going back to wanting to use the Icy's, the Model Master mainly. My problem is I have a certain kind of color blindness. It's got a name, I don't know what it is, but I tend to confuse colors, dark colors, and when you compare like certain dark colors to each other, I have a hard time seeing the difference. NATO colors I have a hard time with. I had them with Tamiya NATO colors. Boy, I had a hard time putting on the green, then the brown, then the black, and I was like, oh my god, I can't see this. I can't see the difference. I finally had to make the black gloss so I could see where it was shinier. So my color blindness has affected me in a lot of ways. So I tend to gravitate towards listening to people what they use for these, because they'll say, well, you know, this brown is good for like Dunkel Gilb or for red brown on a Sherman on a German tank, or this color will do this. So I tend to listen to people and write stuff down so that I know what color to use and where. Like this whole red, everybody told me, yeah, this is the color you want for the bottom of your U-boats. Oh, actually, on my U-boat, it was on my Gato and my Type 58. On my 1/350 scale subs. Use whole red. I did. It works fine. Looks good to me. So with the Model Master paints I used to use, they actually said the exact color, the RLM color, whatever it is, and I trusted that. And so not all of the Vallejos say the exact color they are for what I need for camouflage, but like I said, I can look that up on the internet and find out anytime I want. So other than that, that's about it for this. I'll see you hopefully when I finish primering the sub.